Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Okay. So this evening we'll be reading from, it's an interesting bookmark thing. Is that yours? Oh, okay. Nice. Who gave you this bookmark thing? This thing. This blue thing. Where did it come from? Anyways, doesn't matter. You gave it to him, okay. All right, so we'll be reading from, we won't lose this spot, but we'll be reading from chapter 12, devotional service, text 15. So if everybody could please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Yasman no vijate loko lokan no vijate cha yaha. Harsha Maharsha Bayodvegar Muktoya Sacha Me Priyaha. Okay, translation. So this is Krishna speaking. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. Purport. A few of a devotee's qualifications are further being described. No one is put into difficulty, anxiety, fearfulness, or dissatisfaction by such a devotee. Since a devotee is kind to everyone, he does not act in such a way as to put others into anxiety. At the same time, if others try to put a devotee into anxiety, he is not disturbed. It is by the grace of the Lord that he is so practiced that he is not disturbed by any outward disturbance. Actually, because a devotee is always engrossed in Krishna consciousness and engaged in devotional service, such material circumstances cannot move him. Generally, a materialistic person becomes very happy when there is something for his sense gratification and his body. But when he sees that others have something for their sense gratification and he hasn't, he is sorry and envious. When he is expecting some retaliation from an enemy, he is in a state of fear, and when he cannot successfully execute something, he becomes dejected. A devotee who is always transcendental to all these disturbances is very dear to Krishna. Om Vijnana Tivananda Syagananjana Shalakaya Chakshulanmalitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto him. Makam Karivachalam Pangam Langai Tegirim Yakipatam Maham Vande Shigurinditaranam Banchaka Pudibishcha Kripa Sandibeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So translation again. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. So this is quite a, you could say, not an ordinary description, you could say, of a lot of most of the world, or in other words, it's, you could say, rare to find somebody like this, because I mean the qualifications here are very high. No one is put into difficulty. In other words, this verse is Krishna saying here that such a person exists, and that person has these qualifications. One qualification is he doesn't put anyone into any difficulty. And he's not disturbed by anyone. So has anyone ever met someone who never put anyone into difficulty and who is never disturbed by anyone? It's quite a person, right? And they're equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety. In other words, they're not they're equal. Whether there's happiness coming, whether there's distress coming, whether there's anxiety coming, they're equal. They're undisturbed. Nowadays, there's a lot to be disturbed about. Would anyone disagree? You could disagree if you want. There's a lot to be disturbed about. I mean, people are disturbed about what will happen, right, if the economy crashes. It happens sometimes. I think everybody here is old enough to remember a few of those happening. When was the last one? Yes, 2008. The year we happened to get a lot of monks joining. Economy crashes, the ashram fills up. Or people are worried about, like I was in Guyana recently, country in northeast South America, and I'm sure some of you are aware, because it's right, people follow the news, but those in Guyana, they're in a specific, I mean everyone in Guyana, but a specific, you could say, location again, they're very worried because there's a threat that the neighboring country, Venezuela, will enter that country because the leader and many of the citizens, they want that part of the country. There's been a discovery of very important resources there, oil being one of them. So in other words, it's a cause for anxiety, and the people who are there, they're in anxiety. Is our country going to be invaded? Or in this country, sometimes people may worry, is so-and-so going to be elected? The next president, who is that going to be? So people are in anxiety about that, possibly. And that's just a few examples. I mean, there's so many things to be in anxiety about or to be disturbed about. So the beauty of Krishna consciousness, or the beauty of Bhakti Yoga, or the beauty of the soul reconnecting with Krishna, the Supreme Soul, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through the main process of chanting the holy names, like we were just chanting earlier. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So by chanting those names of Krishna, one can reawaken their Krishna consciousness and come to a platform of freedom. And freedom means freedom from disturbance, freedom from fear, freedom from anxiety, freedom from all the things we do not want. So it's a very, you could say, liberating practice, the practice of Krishna consciousness. So to reach the mark of this particular, or you could say to reach the qualifications that Krishna's listing here, is possible. There are people who exist who do meet these qualifications. They are not disturbed. They don't cause any difficulty to others. They are equipoised in happiness and distress. It is possible. And because sometimes we read things in books and we think, okay, that doesn't seem so possible, especially nowadays. Like we were out distributing books one time. I have done that before. We were out distributing Prabhupada's books on the streets of San Diego, and myself and one devotee by the name of Madhavendra Puri, those of you who know him, but we were distributing books, and he stopped a person, and he was speaking with this person, and she was saying that, yeah, it's too difficult. It's too difficult to be a saint. And then he was saying, well, why is that? And she said, well, there's so many of these rules and it just seems so impossible. So in other words, people think that it's impossible to reach the mark of a saintly person as described in the Bhagavad Gita, but it's very possible. And by the chanting of Hare Krishna, one can come to that platform gradually. So does anybody have any questions at this point? Questions or comments? Okay, yes. Can you pass the man a mic? Can you pass Kṛṣṇa Kata Prabhu a mic? Okay, he's going to pass himself a mic. All right. Self-sufficient man here. He used to work for the FBI, right?
No. I worked with them.
He worked with the FBI.
Come to my police department and ask for help. So I've helped them before.
He is a big bodyguard of very important people.
Yeah, that was a
Kṛṣṇa
time
Kata.
in my life. But when you asked earlier about anybody ever meet or know of a person that is equipoised, that is neutral, that doesn't get angry, that doesn't get too happy, and is free from, stress and anxiety. Watching so much of Srila Prabhupada all these years, he's the only person I've ever met that can actually fit that description. That's my comment.
Nice.
So far, I'm hopeful.
Yeah, so Kṛṣṇa Kata is saying that he's seen these particular qualities manifest and the founder of the Hare Krishna movement. Yeah, by serving, we were discussing this recently, by serving someone, by associating with someone, one gets the qualities of that person. So if you associate with people who you could say don't have very good qualities or very, well, please, you could, inspiring qualities. There's a chair here if you like, or a bench, or a seat on the floor, wherever you're comfortable. By serving a person who has particular qualities, we get those qualities. If we serve someone or associate with someone who's free from different things such as anger and selfishness and all these different qualities, then we can reach that platform. And of course, Srila Prabhupada has that. And I mean, I have conviction that I've met others who have that. Those particular qualities. You could say to reach the level of Srila Prabhupada and his manifestation of those qualities is very high, but I've met people who have, you could say, manifested those qualities to a degree, so large degree. Does anybody have any other, yes, Guru Krishna. Where's Nimai?
She's at home.
Too bad, because she's from Guyana and I was going to talk to her about it.
Well,
anyways.
I visited Guyana twice.
Yeah, I know. They told me about you.
1980.
They told me about your activities there, yeah.
You remember? That was a long time ago. 1984.
Paramatma Prabhu.
Yeah, and then we went back in 1987. But when I went down there, of course, this was post Jim Jones. He kind of put Guyana on the map a little bit. But when I went down there, the big concern was, we have this dictatorship. That was on everyone's mind. And it just, so many staples we had to buy off the black market, so it was very difficult. They were in anxiety about the dictator.
Yeah.
And now there's something new.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the future there will be something, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe you could elaborate on that for us.
Well, there's threefold miseries there's the threefold miseries of material existence. if we analyze what those are, we're all familiar with those. If we're honest, we'll say we're familiar with those. And those are the suffering caused from one's own body and mind, which these could also overlap each other, but suffering caused from one's own body and mind. For example, just the mind being in anxiety over so many things. Mind causing trouble, or the body causing trouble in different ways. Then there's suffering caused from other living entities, such as mosquitoes. A lot of mosquitoes in Guyana. So I was they were liking me, the mosquitoes, very much, or liking my body. And there's other living entities. And then there's suffering caused from natural disturbances, floods, earthquakes, etc. Recently, one of our temples in South India, there's a huge flood. And the devotees were everybody had to get picked up on boats and, taken wherever they were taken to. But everything was flooded. Their restaurant was flooded. Their rooms were flooded. It was just really. So those are the threefold miseries of material existence. So they're there. And a lot of these, the sufferings caused in the world are from other living entities. Like wars, they just don't happen by chance, or it's not automatic, but it's conflict of people. Much of the suffering in the world is coming from people. So yeah, if it's not one thing, it's another. And as Bhajanarayan Swami likes to quote his friend, some college professor down the south, that he said, "Son, it's not that it's only just one thing or the other." He said it could be both. So there could be numerous things happening at the same time that are causing us suffering. But again, for those who surrender to Krishna, that word surrender means they reconnect with Krishna out of loving devotion. The suffering that they experience is less. Means they're not really bothered by it. They're not bothered like someone who, you could say, an ordinary person would be bothered. Like Srila Prabhupada, for example, our teacher, he was in India at the time, in Calcutta, and there was bombs dropping. And you could say, well, that's a very fearful time. It is, bombs dropping. And most of the city was evacuating. They were leaving the city of Calcutta to protect themselves. Now, Srila Prabhupada, he decided to stay, interesting enough. He just stayed in Calcutta. And he was just cooking. He was cooking, and he was frying puris. Those who, what puris are, right? You get some dough and you roll it out, fry it in whatever, oil, ghee or something. So he was frying puris, and while he was frying puris, the bombs were dropping. And then he was thinking to himself that if a bomb falls in my area and I lose my life, then I will consider this that, Krishna has come in the form of a bomb. Krishna's come. So that's quite a radical vision to have. He wasn't concerned about it. And you have so many other particular cases in his life where ordinarily people would be very fearful. But he was fearless, therefore his name Abhay. Abhay means fearless. Specifically, his name is fearless at the lotus feet of Krishna. So yeah, to be in the material world, Krishna stamps it, actually, just like if you stamp a document or something like that. So Krishna stamps the material world as dukkhalayam ashashvatam. He stamps it, which means he stamps it as a place that is, first of all, temporary, and it's full of miseries. That's what he stamps it as. So that's what he says in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, there's a devotee by the name of Prabodhananda Saraswati, and he has a verse in which he says that, you know that verse? Yeah. Where's the microphone? Here.
Kaivalyam narakayate tridashapura kasha pushpayate durdantendre kala sarvapatali prodkhatadam shtrayate. Vishvam punasakayate Vidhi Mahendradi Shikitayate Yat Karunyakataksha Vaibhavatam Tam Gora Evastuma. Okay, so Kaivalyam Narakayate Tridashapur Akasha Pushpayate. It says that for one who has received the merciful glance of Lord Chaitanya, merging into the Brahma Jyoti, or the impersonal feature of Krishna, is like a hellish condition. And then it says, Tridashapura Akasha Pushpayate. It's like the heavenly planets are like sky flowers. Yeah, going to the heavenly planets is like sky flowers, meaning it's just kind of like, yeah, who cares about it? It's not really real. And then Durdantendre Kala Sarpa Patali Prodkhatadam Shtrayate. And then the senses, which are like snakes, become defanged. So one uses their senses, but they're not entangled by them or hurt by them. And it says Vishram Purna Sukayate Vidhi Mahendradi Shikitayate. That the whole world looks, or the whole universe becomes full, according to one perceives the universe as being full of all happiness and sees worship of the demigods as very insignificant. And then, for one who has received the merciful glance of Lord Chaitanya.
Thank you. I got a blue screen there. So that particular verse, Prabodhananda Saraswati, is saying that one who has achieves a sidelong glance of Lord Chaitanya. Now, who is Lord Chaitanya? Lord Chaitanya is Krishna come again 500 years ago in the form of a devotee. So one who gets the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, the one who gets the mercy of personality of Godhead, then the main point that we wanted to highlight here is that Vishram Purna Sukayate means the whole universe becomes full of happiness. It's interesting, because in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, Dukkalayam Ashashvatam, it's full of misery. But this devotee, Prabodhananda Saraswati, is saying, if you get the mercy of the personality, if you get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, then it's the whole universe is full of happiness. So which one is it? What do you think? Both. Yes, both. Means for someone who is materially absorbed or materialistically absorbed in the ongoings of this world and the upheavals of this world, and is deeply attached to it, there's going to be suffering. But for those who are sufficiently spiritually educated, sufficiently spiritually realized, and who get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, then it's full of happiness. So there is a positive side to it for those who want it. So does anyone have another question or comment? Yes.
I recently had an uncle die. Well, he was murdered, and my mom doesn't know how to take it. She's never been to the Christian temple, and so I don't know what to do when I'm in her presence, because I'm like, you'll see him again, you know, like you'll be reminded by him, but it's really hard to kind of help her soul be comfortable with knowing that his memories are good still, you know. I don't know what to advice to give her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, generally what's advised is that first we just kind of comfort the person without giving them advice. Just kind of be there to hear them, to support them, to just be there as a friend for them. So that's the first thing. Generally, the advice is given in that way. And then after that, after some time of supporting them, could say in an emotional way, then one may try to, you could say, share some spiritual teachings with them. Like you could say, well, I've read this very interesting thing in a book recently about this topic, because we have so many books, for example, about this, and it was very inspiring and educational and helpful for me, and I think you might like it also. And then you could give them a book like Bhagavad Gita or something like that, and then they could read it and get some solace. It actually helps in that regard. So,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody have any other question or comment?
Can I make a small comment?
Of course.
Okay. So, I've seen the.
You want to give her the mic? You can.
At the time of death in the family, I've seen people reading verses of Gita to bring solace to the bereaved family. I fear to say this, but Gita is a little bit hard nut to crack. At that point, at that juncture, if they start right off the bat, something has to be brought in to transition towards Gita. There are a great many books. I'm not downplaying any of them. They are really good, actually. I also read a few pages of the Tibetan Book of Dead. I didn't quite gel with it. I just left it at that because it scared me more than any other book. But is there any way to transition to Gita for somebody who has not come across Gita before?
Like a book before the Bhagavad Gita?
Like somewhat like a bridge to spirituality.
I mean, there's many books, like Srila Prabhupada wrote books based on the Bhagavad Gita that were, you could say like simplifying or giving a summary of some of the teachings in the Bhagavad Gita. For example, there's a book called Perfection of Yoga. That was the first book I got. It's a very small book. You could read it in an hour or something.
I've read it once,
Yeah. So that book, you could read a chapter of that or some paragraphs of that. were other books like that.
Okay.
What do you think?
I agree with you.
Okay.
The issue is, my deep thoughts on this is how to help a grieving family to transition towards slightly better, like acceptance of the death. In my case, when my mother passed, I had to really go over it, and it was very hard. It's very hard. So I had to tell myself she's absolutely there as a spirit soul, and it's hard to believe that. And that's what I want to see if one has to use to convince somebody who has lost somebody.
Well, I mean, Srila Prabhupada was asked a similar question, or not, I mean, he was asked about this on this topic, and specifically this fellow was criticizing Arjuna of the Bhagavad Gita, because Krishna spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and then Arjuna's son died on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and then Arjuna was lamenting.
Yep.
And then somebody asked the question, well, why is Arjuna lamenting? Krishna just spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita to him. He just enlightened him, he gave him transcendental knowledge, how he's not the body, but he's the soul, and how other people are souls, no one dies.
Right, exactly.
So why is he lamenting? And then Srila Prabhupada commented, well, that's natural. It's normal. You have some affection for someone, and if they leave, then you have some sadness there, but you continue on with your duty. So people have to come to the realization that they're not the body, and that other people are not their bodies. It means that we're souls and we're eternal. So they have to the degree they come to that realization, to the degree they'll be able to process it properly. So, therefore, there's all types of spiritual process. There's all types of ways. First, we have theoretical knowledge, and then we could realize the knowledge by practicing what's in the books.
Yeah, just wanted to know the Krishna way, Krishna devotional way of grief counseling. That's why I asked you. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Yes, Paneshwari, Lakshmi, Devi Dasi. She grew up in this community, right? Very young, born here.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you. I just walked into class, excuse me, but just a comment from Mataji's question. I think we need to understand that grief is natural and we need to go through it. So I don't think, I think there's a misconception that as devotees, we don't grieve. We do grieve, we do suffer, and that's part of the process. This is a part of the process, and we need to understand that however hard it may be, ultimately we need to understand that Krishna wants us home. And many things that we go through, good and bad, are a part of that process. And so when we need to grieve, and we are allowed to grieve. But the Bhagavad Gita is there, and all of Srila Prabhupada's books are there, because after that process of grieving, when we ask, where did they go? Why am I suffering so much? Is there something else? Then that's why the Bhagavad Gita is there. That's why Srila Prabhupada has given us all those things. So, and we're not saying that the minute you read Bhagavad Gita, all of a sudden you'll reach enlightenment and you'll see God and you'll be all happy. Doesn't happen like that. Unfortunately, we each have our own journey to go on in order to reach Krishna. And we need to be able to go on that journey and look for the association of Srila Prabhupada's books and his devotees to help us in that process. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Very nice, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
You have very well explained how one should grieve, and this is coming from Bhagavad Gita, and just one comment from this. 2 weeks ago, there was an interview on CNN. A lot of people are dying in Ukraine and Israel. because of and those people who are dying, they don't have any fault in this. They haven't done anything wrong. Because they are from this particular community, they are getting killed. And I mean, I don't like to talk in here about politics or politician, but one thing I found it very, very interesting. Our current president was interviewing, and he was sharing his experience where he lost his wife, 2-year-old daughter, and his 2 sons. And he was telling his experience. I mean, and that is exactly connecting to what you are saying about the rebirth, right? Because Bhagavad Gita teaches the soul cannot be destroyed or cannot be burned. It can go from one form to another. And exactly that he was saying, but the way he was telling in different way. He was looking at his grandson's reflection of his own son or own daughter. In a way, he's saying somewhere they are coming from there, and so they are the reflection of it. So I think something one need to consider this. I mean, how you put it is a different thing, but reality remains still that this soul is always going to be alive. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a comment or a question? You could pass the mic to her.
Hare Krishna. What you were saying before about this man who's cooking and well, these bombs are dropping, and he's saying, well, if the bomb drops on me, that will mean that Krishna has come. And I feel called to speak that, having experienced great loss, as we all have, I'm sure Krishna is in the death as well as the creation of life and movement after that death. And he is in the grieving in all of it. It's just that we don't see the beauty of it yet because we don't have that same viewpoint, at least not yet. So.
Thank you.
Guilt is another factor.
Thank you for your comment.
Nice comment.
One thing about Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada took a fair amount of time to prepare everyone for Bhagavad Gita in his forward and preface to Bhagavad Gita. And a lot of times these traumatic experiences just kind of wake up people to be able to receive the message of Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes it is a series of learning experiences that kind of gradually lead us to Bhagavad Gita, but it also might be just a very, catastrophic, big experience. And now all of a sudden I'm just open to spiritual life. And if you get Bhagavad Gita at that time, then that could be a huge jump forward. And Balaram Prabhu, I was wondering if you could explain, why is it that people die in war? Because apparently they appear to be innocent people. Why is it that they're being killed in these wars?
Well, I think because of the nature of people's consciousness at the particular moment. I mean, some people's consciousness at the particular moment. I think it might be, and see, it's 6:45 right now, so it's it's, and because actually there's a whole thing that we're supposed to show. So, and it's a big conversation actually, this particular topic. I mean, people write books on it, people give seminars on it, people give whole lectures on it. So I think we'll just, if you don't mind, we'll just move to this. Is that okay? All right. Just, I mean, the time, and it's a really big topic, so I don't think I'm going to do justice to it. And the reason I'm giving this presentation is because I just came back from Guyana and Trinidad and Suriname, and I know all of you. I know a number of you here, and a natural question is to ask me, how was my trip? So to avoid answering it 50 times, not that I don't mind talking with everybody, but I just thought I would tell everybody all at once. So this is Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra, Kṛṣṇa, Balaram, and his sister in Suriname. So that's the first. So you can next. Sorry, this is Gornitai. Okay, next. These are some devotees offering candles to Damodar. You see Damodar there? Yashoda? Yep. Okay, next. This is a Tulsi plant, and then there's, you could walk around Tulsi there. This is in Suriname. Okay, next. This is a temple, and this is a temple in, I don't think you could read that. This is a temple in, what's the town called? There's Georgetown, and then about 30 minutes from Georgetown is Crane. This is Crane Temple. Guyana. Okay, next. This is Hanuman. Those of you who know Hanuman, it's a very big statue of Hanuman. This picture is actually taken on a boat crossing a river. The river was in, the place I went to was Essequibo. That's the place, anyways, Venezuela's trying to enter, but I went there and I was crossing back over the river by speedboat to go back to the Crane Temple, and I just looked to my right and I see Hanuman there, so I took a picture. That's okay. So above Brazil you have French Guiana. I wasn't there, but I was in Suriname where that flag is, and then Guyana above Suriname. I was there for 2 weeks, about a little over 2 weeks. Okay, we're jumping across the world here. Wasn't exactly planned like that, but anyways. This is in Czech Republic, dancing with a fellow stranger friend. Never met him before. Okay, we're back in Suriname. All right. This is a devotee from Venezuela, chanting japa in front of Tulsi early in the morning. Okay. This is a very interesting lake. You see the color there? I mean, generally people are like, oh, we want clear waters, we want... This is dark, you know. This is... Anyways, I asked the devotees, why is it this color? And they told me that what happens is the river's flowing and there's a bunch of like herbs dropping and different things like that, and it makes it that color. So, yeah, kind of like a tea. You're swimming in tea, yeah. So I went swimming there. Had to change my Brahman thread afterwards. This is Gaur Nitai. Nitai Gaur, this is Suriname. Okay, next. Another temple in Guyana. Crane Temple, yep. That's myself, I think. You don't have to, please don't zoom in. Okay, you go back. This is another devotee. See the devotee smiling here? His name's Sanjay. So Sanjay is a very kind devotee, and I just met him the first time, and he told me that, you know, because I'm trying to travel more and trying to spread the message of Godhead. So anyways, he told me that he's wishing me well in my endeavors, and he said that he will chant one extra round for me every day. So I thought that was very kind of him. He's a disciple of Bhakti Marg Swami. Okay, next. Another temple shot. Okay, next. This temple in Suriname. They speak French there and English. You see how the temple's spelled there? Tempel. Dutch. Okay, next. This is arriving to the airport, Suriname. This is an Esquibo temple there. Okay, next. All right, look at that small thing. Okay, welcome to Trinidad. All right. Going to Thai deities. Okay, we're jumping back across the world again. I mean, I did travel within the last couple months to Czech Republic and Germany and Guyana. So these are some brahmacharis having a good time. I took the picture there, and the devotee said, "Oh, you're taking this picture." And they said, if you show this picture to others, they will think that the brahmacharis of Czech Republic are lazy. And I said, no, they're just relaxing after breakfast. Okay, next. This is our Ananda Tirtha Maharaj, our old temple president, Mahat Tattva Prabhu. I was traveling with him for 2 weeks in Czech Republic and Germany, so he's giving a class, and this devotee is translated into Czech. Okay, next. Okay, jumping back across the world. These are devotees from Guyana. Okay, next. My arrival to Suriname. Going to Tai Ki Jai. Devotee in Germany, having fun, growing things. Kirtan, Czech Republic. These are deities in Radha Kṛṣṇa and Guyana. This is a deity installation in Suriname. Meeting with the brahmacharis, trying to get them into action. Next. This is a Harinam party. We're out chanting and dancing on the streets of Suriname. Some happy devotees there. The boy looks happy, huh? To the right. Okay. Distributing books. Germany. Next. Trinidad. Beautiful deities in Trinidad. They have a nice backdrop there. You see that backdrop? That's Govardhan Hill. Beautiful backdrop. This is Georgetown Study Center, Guyana. Okay. Next. I'm really jumping. Okay, next. This is interesting. They have wild lotuses growing in Guyana, all over the place. Lotuses, to buy a lotus, it's very expensive, actually. Try ordering lotuses, very expensive. But they're just growing in fields, and anybody and everybody, they just go pick them. So devotees, they go and they pick lotuses, and they make all types of garlands for the deities and so on. So, Okay, Guyana temple. Myself and Prabhupada, or Prabhupada and myself, Prabhupada and myself in Suriname. Deity installation. We have coconuts there. You go back. See, there's coconuts. We're bathing the deities with fresh coconuts. So never did that before. A lot of coconuts there. Is that all? Okay, next. 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 So this is Tirtha Maharaj, and if you look right here, you see there's some quesadillas there. So those were delivered by Kanai Balai. I mean, I delivered them, but Kanai Balai sent them. So there you go. So Maharaj was happy. Distributing cookies to the children. It's interesting what they do in Czech Republic is a lot of the householders they have children, but they don't send them to public schools. But what they do is they all they have one particular facility, and they all just send them to that place. But no, sorry, that doesn't make any sense. But they're all homeschooled, like individually, but during their homeschool, they just don't stay home with themselves and their parents, but they all meet in a particular location. So it's a combination of homeschooling and the kids meeting. It's an interesting thing they do. Georgetown. This is in Naikari, small little center there. These are lotus pickers out there. Lotus flower. See the garlands there, these pink, these are the lotuses. Devotees building houses in Czech Republic. We're spinning together in transcendental ecstasy by a river in Suriname. Okay, next. Germany. Okay, next. Brahmachari studying. This is Nrsingadev, Prahlad Nrsingadev in Germany. Very beautiful deity. And very powerful deity. So it's Krishna coming in the form of half man, half lion, to protect his devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. It's a whole pastime in the Bhagavatam, but very beautiful deity there. This devotee, he's a Prabhupada disciple, and very wonderful devotee. He's been a brahmachari for many years, and he serves at the Trinidad temple. So I just snapped a shot when we were laughing about something. Next. Is that it? All right, perfect. You know why it's perfect? Because it's 6:59. Okay, see, so it worked out. What made me go to Guyana and Suriname and Trinidad versus other places? Okay. Well, I've been in the temple now for 17 years. Of course, relatively speaking, that's not a long time. But now in my life, the idea in consultation with my spiritual master, His Holiness Giriraj Swami, and my GBC Bhajanarayan Swami and Dravida Prabhu and other devotees, the idea is that I'm moving gradually within the next 5 years to the fourth ashram of life, means the renounced order of life. And so as part of that, there's a whole ministry that manages such cases as me. And they requested that I go to South America for 2 weeks. So that's why I went there. Otherwise, I would never go there. I'm just joking. No, it was very nice. The devotees were asking if I'm going to come back, and pretty much one of them made me promise. So I said, okay, I'll come back. So anyway, so that's the reason. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we'll stop there, and thank you all very much. And now we will have kirtan, and then chanting and dancing, and then we'll serve dinner after that. Okay. Hare Krishna.